will be here all week. As we mentioned in our last game, when he's not officiating these matchups, he is the theater teacher at Harding Senior High School in St. Paul, and naturally he directs all of the plays and productions that go on with the Harding Theater Department. He's been there for a long time. Minnesota wearing the white. Nice job, Mike. You tried to mute me out. Did I say something silly? Calgary wearing the red jerseys, Minnesota wearing the white. As we mentioned, Calgary is the defending Canadian champions from last year. Odd-numbered years, the Canadian and American teams host national tournaments. Minnesota, the two-time defending Power Hockey Cup champions, winning in 2012 and 2010. This is the first event to be hosted in St. Paul. The last time the Power Hockey event was hosted was in Minneapolis, and then the last couple of years we've been in the Canadian territories, and I know Mike is saving up his travel funds so that he can go in 2016.
You're darn right I am. I'm trying to save them, and
just in case Canada hosts it again.
Maybe, yep. I'd like to go to Canada and see whatever they got there.
And we'd also like to inform you that you can follow along with live up to the second stats. Just go to the Power Hockey Cup Twitter handle at Power Hockey Cup, and if you want to join the discussion, our hashtag is Power Hockey Cup 2014. I know it's a long one, and I'll say it again, Power Hockey Cup 2014. The social media is all the buzz, as Weird Al Yankovic demonstrated this past week with his new album. So as you mentioned, a lot of fast play, and there is the captain, Chad Wilson, number 87 for the Saints. That was a nice interview that I had with Jake Saxton of Philadelphia.
Yes, it was. It was a great interview, and hope to have some more interviews.
I wonder if Pittsburgh has a team, if they get into the same rivalry that the Flyers and the Penguins do, or the Eagles and the Steelers.
That would definitely be fun.
Or the Phillies and Pirates. Did you get a chance to check out the All-Star game, by the way?
Yes, I did. And
baseball's all, because I know you were a season ticket holder, and I just wanted to get that in there.
Yep, I did. I got to see all the events, from the Futures game to the Celebrity game to the Home Run Derby and the All-Star game. It was a blast. Especially, I was right by where all the home runs were hit.
Did you catch any of them?
I could have had close. I was close.
You could have. I could have. I decided to have another sip of my drink.
Yep, basically.
Underway in the first period. No score yet between Calgary and Minnesota. And for those of you new to power hockey, rules are quite similar to the traditional form of ice hockey. We have 15-minute periods as opposed to 20 minutes, and we had a near opportunity, but getting the deflection was Chad Wilson. That ball was gliding toward Nathan Grosklaus. That's a name where if somebody's watching from Calgary, I could use some pronunciation assistance on, because I have a feeling I'm going to botch that a couple of times. Wilson with the lob, and it's deflected by number 21, Keith Bourbonnais.
As long as you don't neuter it, Mike.
You're not going to let that go, are you?
No, I'm not.
Tony may no longer be with us, but his spirit is still here.
Yes, he is.
Rules are similar. 15-minute periods. It's 4-on-4 as opposed to the 5-on-5 in the traditional form. Another difference is the offside call. There's only one line here, the center line, so there are no blue lines to indicate attack zones. The offside rule is the same, but it's the center line that is the point of emphasis for that ruling. Other than that, it's the same game. And we also use a wiffle ball as opposed to a puck. I remember playing wiffle ball with your baseball equipment when I was younger, but not in this use, but it's kind of cool. And gliding in, the goal is number 20, Matt Wimmergren. He got it underneath the chair of Jeff Barrett, the Calgary goalie. That was a very casual goal, but it gets Minnesota on the board.
Wow, what a good goal. He found a seam in the goalie's chair, and that was pretty sick.
Well, and we should point out that we'll stop play if the ball gets trapped underneath the chair or some part of the equipment.
Here's a
well,
replay
you can also use the chair to your benefit, as Matt Wimmergren did. Matt Wimmergren from Maple Grove, Minnesota, a level 2 player. Now, there are 3 levels of players, and what does that mean for power hockey fans that may be new to this sport? You have level 1, 2, and 3.
Well, I think right there is, you know, like Chad Wilson would be a 1 because he has the best upper body strength. I believe that's how it would go, performance and upper body strength. And then 2 would be the less of the ones. I know you can only have 1 number 1 player on a team for the tournament. So it's good to always have a couple of 2s and 3s on the team as well as a 4 and to mix in there.
What number were you?
We didn't go by classifications. We went by how terrible we were.
Well, that's not very optimistic.
No.
Chad Wilson credited with the assist on the Wimmergren goal. Wilson has it, tries the lob.
If any of you guys
right idea, but he just didn't have enough spin on that to catch up to it. 9 minutes, 54 seconds remaining in the first period. If you just joined us, Minnesota leads Calgary 1-0. We'll get that score updated for you in a moment, but that goal came from Matt Wimmergren. Wilson, that shot deflected off a couple of chairs.
So overlooking Wimmergren, that's how they got their goal. Yeah, lots of emphasis is always on Chad Wilson, so it's always good for another player to score for the Saints because everybody's looking for Chad to weave around and do all the damage.
He's built that reputation. That's why he's wearing the C patch. Chad Wilson from Chaska, Minnesota. A suburb, Minneapolis suburb in the southwest part of the metro. They've produced some notable talents. One of them finished up her collegiate career a few years ago. Courtney Boylan played D1 ball at the University of Michigan. Member of the Wolverines. And I believe she's an assistant coach now. Ball goes out of play. We have a stoppage of play with 8:41 left. And for those of you tuning in, if you happen to live in the St. Paul area, admission throughout the entire week is free. So tell your friends who might be living in the Twin Cities area to come check out some power hockey for free in this North American tournament. Deep shot, and that goes off the retaining wall. It's picked up by Wilson. I imagine we'll be calling his name a lot in the course of 45 minutes. And getting in there for the stop is Keith Bourbonnais. Still getting a few tweets from the Philadelphia, Michigan game. How are we at on viewership?
It's dropped a little bit, 45, but that's to be expected at the last game. And, you know, we had a lot of viewers early this morning, so, you know, probably time to get some dinner or something.
Power hockey gives you a powerful appetite.
Yes, it does.
Wilson in a scrum with Mike Falconer.
To answer a chat here from Angie BB Gun, she asks, feet aren't allowed to direct the ball, right? And I believe that is correct. They're not allowed to use their feet to direct the ball.
You can only use the stick. Wilson clears the ball, and we'll go back to the other end. 6 minutes, 55 seconds left in the first period. Minnesota leads Calgary 1-0. Mike Falconer has it. He is Calgary's level 1 player. Pass deflected off the chair of Wilson. He tries to get in there, and we may have a delayed penalty. And we do.
That will go against Calgary.
Falconer will be assessed with the penalty. May have been some malicious contact with the stick. So Minnesota going on the first power play of the game, and if you are wondering, power play works the same in power hockey as it does in the traditional variant. So Minnesota will have a man advantage for the next 2 minutes. Oh, a double minor.
Ooh, this is big against...
oh, hang on. They're getting...
No, only 2 minutes for one player.
Yes, I thought it was a double. You're right. We saw the score, and we were confused for a moment because we saw a double minor, and it's hard to see everything that happens here. In any case, Minnesota gets a man up here.
2-minute minor penalty for number 13 of the Calgary Selects, Mike Falconer, for hooking.
2 minutes for hooking. Wilson with the shot, lobs it. That goes off the shoulder of Calgary's goalie, Jeff Barrett, and falls out of play, so a face-off in the Calgary zone.
Chad Wilson loving to use those high shots. The goalie was ready for that, though.
Wilson prefer a top shelf game?
Yes, he does. That's where the cookies are.
Gets a pair of shots at Barrett. Another one, that sails high over the crossbar. 1 minute, 25 seconds remaining in the power play.
Watch out for Josh Twite. He's a very dangerous player as well out there.
And on cue, Minnesota gets a power play goal.
Here we go. Here's our little sneaky play there. And he does. That was really tricky there.
It looked like Wilson on the play, and it just crossed the line. As you see, the crease indicates where the goalie can be, obviously, and that also indicates the line. And if the ball crosses any part of that line, or I should say completely crosses the line, it counts as a goal.
Correct.
It wasn't a pretty one, but I believe Wilson will be credited with his first goal of the game. And Minnesota takes a 2-0 lead.
Number 87, Chad Wilson. Assisted by number 20, Matt Wimmergren.
Wilson does get credit with the goal, and Wimmergren credit with the assist, so the two flip-flop on that last play. So both players have 1 goal and 1 assist. Minnesota has a 2-goal lead over Calgary in their first game in Group A. Our earlier Group A game, Carolina dominated Toronto, winning 6-1. Minnesota has 2 games, of course. Everybody plays 2 tomorrow. Minnesota will play at 4 p.m. against Toronto and at 8:30 against Carolina. And you can watch every match from pool play to the championship here on Ustream. Mike will be here all night. Wilson with the steal. Lobs another one. That goes wide right. Mike will be here all night. He'll be camping out in a cot here at Roy Wilkins Auditorium. And
unfortunately, no.
I do think they'll probably send you home. You probably would want to go home.
Yeah, I'll probably do want to go home.
As much as you love this facility.
Oh, yeah.
And this is a great facility to promote this event. Again, it's the first time St. Paul has hosted the Power Hockey Cup. This is the same venue that hosts concerts. I remember going to the Fun concert a couple of years ago. High school graduations always are held here, and They also have something in common with the Festival of Nations. That event also takes place here every year on the Cinco de Mayo holiday. Look at Wilson. He is everywhere. If he doesn't have control of the puck, he's fighting for it. He's going for deflections. He must have quite the fearsome reputation for the Saints.
He definitely has a fearsome reputation with the Minnesota League, and it's very tough to stop him. He scores. I've seen him score at least like 11, 12 goals before, so by himself. So very dangerous player.
I imagine he still had teammates with him.
Yes, he did.
That would be impressive if he did all 11 without any help. A solo effort?
Based on his regular team, some would say yes, a solo effort, but he does try to use his other teammates, and he does get them involved.
Well, not even Maya Moore can win every game by herself. Grosclaws tried to get a pass off, and Wilson with another interception. He'll lob it, and that will be stopped by Jeff Barrett. Puck still alive, I should say ball. That's happened to me a few times today. And now it's trapped near the Calgary net. Grosclaws picks it up. Grosclaws, I should say. And let's see if Calgary can mount an offensive. Grosclaws had no option, so he just shanked it to the near corner where Sean Paul was waiting. And Minnesota gets another deflection, and they cleared the ball away. Chad Wilson looking for the poke. And he does, and he'll clear the ball to the Calgary side. Now, if you're wondering the purpose of that, it's really to set up an attack, because you don't have changeovers like you do in the traditional form where you'll see teams clear the puck out, giving enough time for their benches to swap. Here, you can't sub in until a stoppage in play.
That is correct.
Grosclaws has it. It's across the center line. He's in a tango with Wilson. Now Paul joins in. Also in the scrum is Ben Thorne, and Wilson comes up with another one. I don't know if they chart deflections, but Wilson would be running high in that category. And he'll clear the ball again.
Almost a dangerous rebound there for the Calgary selects there.
And I'm wondering if that's what Wilson is trying to do. He knows you're not likely going to get a shot from deep, but if you can get a rebound and get a live ball scramble, that sets you up nicely.
Yes, it does.
45 seconds in the first period. Wilson, he loves those lobs, and the ball goes out of play. We'd like to remind you, if you would like to send us your comments, feedback, shout-outs, you can leave a comment on the Ustream feed or send me a tweet at @TheSportsBrain. I think we put that up on screen. If not, we'll do it soon. It's @TheSportsBrain. All one word. We'd love to hear from you. As I know, we've been getting a lot of feedback from our last game, and if there are any Minnesota or Calgary fans watching, we'd like to offer their support, and we'll even read your comments on the air. 30 seconds left. And Minnesota staves off a potential Calgary attack. Chad Wilson is a name you're going to be hearing a lot of. Ten seconds. Can Calgary get a shot off? They do, but it's stopped by the Minnesota defender. Rebound, no. And time will expire. It's been a very quiet session on Minnesota's defensive end so far. for Josh Wimmergren and company, but Minnesota carries a 2-0 lead as we enter the first intermission, and Chad Wilson is just simply all over the place.
Saints 2, Calgary Selects 0.
And for Sarah Heinz, who is the goalie, I believe, between the pipes today for Minnesota, it's been a very laid-back first period for her.
Yes, it has been, and you know, she hasn't had to see many shots.
Well, we will pause for a few minutes and come back with the second period and our sponsor appreciation. Minnesota with a 2-0 lead over Calgary.
Go.
Welcome back to the legendary Roy Wilkins Auditorium as Ustream continues its coverage of Power Hockey Cup 2014 in St. Paul, Minnesota. Mike Beaton here with Mike York, and before we get the second period underway, let's acknowledge tournament sponsors: Ability Care Partners Incorporated, a PCA choice provider; AwesomeDesign.com; Dynaquip Material Handling Solutions; Impressions Incorporated, specializing in design, printing, and packaging; Roll-X Vans; and Thiel Technologies. We thank you for your support to make Power Hockey Cup 2014 possible. Minnesota with a 2-0 lead over Calgary. The Minnesota Saints over Calgary Selects. There's a Minnesota Selects team. You'll be seeing them tomorrow. And so far, the duo of Matt Wimmergren and Chad Wilson performing beautifully. Well, Mike went off the mic for a moment. Minnesota wearing the white jerseys, Calgary wearing the red. And with Minnesota, it's been primarily the Chad Wilson show. Shouldering most of the responsibilities for the team. And we're underway in the second period of play. Let's see what Chad Wilson does. He was tough to stop, tough to contain in the first period. Let's see what happens in the second. And we have a new follower, Christian Hoban. Oh, there's a shot. Chad Wilson, he was deflected, stopped by Jeff Barrett, who has been busy tonight. And Christian Hoban is following us. Had a sibling compete for Philadelphia in our last game. Wilson, that pass deflected, tried to race in there, couldn't quite do so, and Sean Paul makes the stop. He's on side. Actually, he was going back, and now he'll clear it to the Minnesota zone, and Chad Wilson is going to speed his way down there to get the ball first. And Wilson now clears it in the other direction. He sets up for a teammate. Oh, they couldn't handle it. Oh, my goodness. Matt Wimmergren had a great look, and he just could not get the stick at a favorable angle. That was a great pass, and unfortunately, Wimmergren can't capitalize on it. But 13:42 remaining, and Minnesota exerting total control of this match. Mike York will join me soon. I'm not sure if we're still on. Our video feed has dropped, so I will run audio commentary. There is Grosskloss with the ball, and it looks like we're getting our video feed slowly restored here. Grosskloss has it, gets it past the center line, and Chad Wilson is there for another pickoff. He is deflecting everything. Tried to hook up with Hammergren again, or Wimmergren, I should say, and couldn't quite do so.